Prime Minister's speech there at the newly inaugurated Seva Teerth, sending across a message about how every single official present there, including himself, is there to serve, not to rule, highlighting again that it's all about Kartavya to the people of this country, but also loaded with a whole lot of political attacks, saying for the longest time there wasn't even a memorial to go ahead and honor our braves. We changed that around. He's also spoken about how since 2014 every attempt has been made to get rid of the slavery mindset. The Prime Minister also highlighting the need to get rid of, in fact, the colonial hangover, as he calls it. And this is the clear message behind why also you're seeing the steps being taken of moving from the North and South bloc. I'll bring in Gaurav Sawant to decode some of the big highlights of, in fact, the speech by the Prime Minister. Big messaging there, Gaurav, from the Prime Minister, that it's time for us to shed that colonial mindset, saying that is the intent behind ensuring that these offices are revamped, that we shift now from a North bloc, South bloc to a Seva Teerth.
Seva Paramo Dharma. That's the message that Prime Minister Narendra Modi gave to government officials today when they serve, when they come to office every day. Their effort must be to ensure that their work is for the benefit of the 140 crore citizens of this country. That was Prime Minister Narendra Modi's message, and he spoke extensively about how the need of the hour was to move away from that Macaulay mindset, or from that mindset that these buildings were built by the British to rule India and Indians. His effort constantly was to move very systematically away from it. And he gave multiple examples how Rajpath became Kartavya Path. And the old buildings are not being taken down. For example, the old Parliament building, when a new Parliament building has come up, the old Parliament building remains Samvidhan Sadan. North Block and South Block will remain museums, and government work will happen from the Kartavya Bhavan building 1 and 2, and his own office will be called the Seva Teerth. And he explained why, following the example, the civilizational ethos of this land, it is Seva Paramo Dharma, that the biggest service or work that you can do is to serve others. He also spoke of the message that's actually written outside Seva Teerth. It's Nagarik Devo Bhava, moving or taking a leaf out of Acharya Devo Bhav, Matra Devo Bhav, Pitra Devo Bhav, which is the civilizational ethos of this land, that you treat your parents, your elders, your teachers, your guests as God. Similarly, for government, you treat your citizens as God. How much of this will actually happen on ground? Well, the Prime Minister gave examples of 25 crore people being brought out of poverty, of India moving towards that golden era, Viksit Bharat 2047. He said this is the time that that foundation has to be laid.
And that's exactly, how he envisioned this entire move, Gaurav, speaking about his Mission 2047, which he's constantly spoken of, even in this case, saying that this is something that's a part of our Viksit Bharat vision. I'll bring in Aishwarya Paliwal, who's joining us live from Vijay Chowk, essentially meters away from the new Seva Teerth building that's now been inaugurated by the Prime Minister. And a very important message, Aishwarya, that the Prime Minister sent out. Yes, he's spoken about, getting rid of that colonial legacy, that hangover, but also a very important message to these government servants, saying we are here to serve, we're not here to rule.
Well, let me tell you, Akshita, this has been the focus point and the focal point of Prime Minister Narendra Modi ever since he's come to power as the Prime Minister in 2014. He's been clearly telling all the people, he's been telling the ministers, he's been telling the MPs in not one but many meetings. He's told them that you are here to serve the people, do not ever think that you are here to rule, and that's the reason. He gave a very important example, and that example is true. Akshita, if you can see behind me, the North Block, the South Block actually has been built on a hill, which is true. Which means that, the height of these buildings is much more than the other buildings around. Seva Teerth In Seva Teerth, that is not the case, which means that you are equal. You are here to serve the people. Seva Teerth. Seva is doing your work for others, and Teerth in Hindi actually refers to a holy place. So this is a place which is a holy place. You need to treat it like that, and you need to be very, very sure that you need to work for the people. There has to be equality, and you also need to be very careful that all the colonial baggage that we have had over the past so many years, over the past 75 years, that now you need to shed. You need to look forward, and you need to remember the history. You need to remember the culture. That's the reason why we will see, both these buildings, they are huge from inside. All of them being made into a museum, the world's largest museum, so that we preserve our culture, we preserve our heritage, but also making sure that we look forward, we march forward. The forward path is to make India a developed nation by 2047.
And we move forward with the times. A lot of this infrastructure, yes, held a lot of symbolism, but also was aging infrastructure. So we're moving with the times, and that's the other message the Prime Minister has put forth. Thanks very much, Aishwarya and Gaurav, for getting us those highlights. Our top focus tonight, on to the point. What played out in Tamil Nadu's Salem, where you had TVK chief Vijay holding a massive rally. 5 months after the tragic stampede in Karur, where 41 lives were lost, another death has cast a shadow over a rally led by Vijay. This time in Salem, a 37-year-old died. He collapsed and later died. Now it's suspected that it was due to dehydration and then a cardiac arrest. The party says he suffered a heart attack. Police claim dehydration and alleged overcrowding beyond permitted limits. And this, mind you, is despite countless restrictions being put in place for Vijay's events, for Vijay's rallies. And despite that, according to the police, the number of 5,000 was given. It swelled up to 7,000 and 8,000. So they're even threatening that they will now file an FIR against TVK. Opposition parties have lashed out at Vijay, again saying that he's acted insensitively, that there have been lapses at the rally that he must answer for. Let's get you all of the reactions that have come in so far.
Vijay's fans are still reeling from the wounds of the Karur stampede 5 months ago, in which 41 people lost their lives. Now, another death at the TVK chief's Salem rally has reopened those wounds. The victim, 37-year-old Suraj, who hailed from Maharashtra, had come to the rally to see his idol Vijay. The TVK says Suraj fainted and died due to a heart attack.
We don't want this to happen in future. Since the press meet was arranged here, I think there was a small misunderstanding at Salem, and definitely we are sad about that incident.
While the police acknowledged that Suraj had pre-existing heart conditions, they claimed that the death was due to dehydration. The police allege that TVK organizers allowed more than 7,000 to 8,000 people to enter the venue, despite the maximum limit being 5,000. And also permitted sick individuals to attend. Sources say the police will soon file an FIR against the organizers. Adding to the chaos, when Suraj was admitted to the hospital, a scuffle broke out between TVK cadres and media personnel. Reports suggest that a TVK worker accidentally stepped on a journalist's foot, which escalated the situation. Politics has already begun over the death at Vijay's rally. The AIADMK said that anyone attending a TVK rally return in a coffin.
ஒரு நிகழ்வு நடந்தது. நான் சொல்லக்கூடாது. திருப்பி கேட்கறதுனால சொல்றேன். ஒரு பிரச்சனை நடந்தது. 72 நாட்கள் வீட்டை விட்டே வரல. ஏன் விஜய் வீட்டு வரலன்னு சொல்றாங்கறாங்க. ஒரு தலைவரான கேட்கத்தான் செய்வாங்க.
The BJP also slammed TVK, asking how many more deaths will occur before the suffering ends.
பாவம், அவர் அனுபவமே இல்லாதவர். முதல்ல வீட்டில இருந்து வெளியே வரணும். திரிஷாவிட்ட இருந்து முதல்ல வெளியே வந்தா தான் முதல்ல எல்லாமே நடக்க முடியும். இவர் அதாவது குடும்பத்தோட நல்ல உறவு வைக்கணும். நல்ல தலைவர்கள் வழி நடத்தின இயக்கத்தை நல்ல முறையில் சொல்லணும். முதல்ல இதல இருந்து வெளிய வரணும். முதல்ல வீட்ல இருந்து வெளிய வந்தா தான் முடியும்.
Politics has also broken out on this matter, with the BJP and the AIADMK pointing fingers at TVK's Vijay, holding him squarely responsible for the death that has been caused. However, the police, like I mentioned, have told India Today that the death was because of dehydration, which could have happened because of his underlying heart-related condition. With camera person Daniel, Anaga Keshav reporting for India Today from Salem.
So who's to blame for this incident that's taken place at Vijay's rally? Is it once again lapses, or is there an unnecessary political blame game that's playing out? Joining me on this edition of To The Point is Thenmozhi Prasanna, spokesperson of the Tamilaga Vettri Kazhagam. We've got Kovai Sathyan, spokesperson of the AIADMK, and Mathur Satya, political analyst, joining us on this broadcast. I'd like to begin with the TVK spokesperson, Thenmozhi Prasanna. Thenmozhi, the Tamil Nadu police seem to suggest that there were lapses, that permission was given for 5,000 people. Instead, 7,000 to 8,000 people had gathered at this rally venue.
Actually, first, our deepest condolences to the person who lost lives and the family. And they were saying we have allowed more than that, but we have given only 4,998 passes, and only the person who are with passes only allowed. So it is not like that what they have stated. We haven't allowed more persons. And the person who passed away, he was already having a mild heart attack already. Once his friend who attended who gave already his statement and to the press by stating that he was already sick, and he suggested him that he should not go as the heat might not be perfect for him. So he didn't listen. He just want to come to that. As from TVK, all the leaders, including Chief, General Secretary, and all the second-run leaders, we are always insisting that pregnant ladies, children's, like old people who are sick, please don't come to the rally place. Please see through the TV and all those things. So we again
the police say that's
everyone,
exactly what happened. The TV case constantly said that, we're being restricted, we're not being allowed to hold rallies, the police are imposing all sorts of conditions, and that's why we're not being able to hold these rallies. And yet, look what's happened. Another event where another tragedy has happened.
See, we are saying we are sorry for this, but the same media which is talking about this didn't talk about the 2 persons died who were died while erecting the pole post and all those things. When we to the venue where Mr. Udayanidhi Stalin, Deputy Chief Minister, were attending a function. It happened in that, but the media didn't capture that.
No, I'm sorry. This is an age-old excuse of blaming the media. Age-old. No.
It is the blame game.
You can't resort. Someone's died at your rally, and yet you point fingers at the media. I'll bring in Kovai Sathyan, spokesperson of the AIADMK on this. Mr. Kovai Sathyan, what do you make of what's happened?
I'm not pointing fingers at media. The thing
I would say,
don't talk about that.
Yeah, Thenmozhi, I'll come back to you. Let Mr. Kovai Sathyan make his point now, please.
For the loss, but the thing is...
Yes, Mr. Kovai Sathyan, go ahead.
TVK has not learnt a lesson. Playing with the lives of a common man has become a norm nowadays, I guess. 41 precious lives lost, SOPs are given, and TVK leader Vijay stands up to the podiums and says that SOP means Stalin's operating procedure. But at the same time, they have not taken the due diligence and care to safeguard the interests of the people who had come for the rally. And here on a national media, all they are trying to peddle lies. The video of people who had come for the rally without a pass and they had been allowed had come out in the morning itself. There was no restrictions. People who had passes were let in first. When there were more number of people who wanted to come in, they were let in. So let's understand, let's take the responsibility, let's have the courage to take the responsibility.
So they're saying, Mr. Kovai Sathyan, look, the question here is also about whether this is a political blame game that's played out. We don't know the circumstances yet. There's been no detailed investigation yet. Are we jumping the gun and going ahead and blaming Vijay, blaming the TVK?
The event unfolded in such a way that the police say it is dehydration. The person had asked for water, and if at all, if there were to be any medical camps set in, what have they done during the golden hours? And there are many questions that will arise, but the responsibility lies with the organizers as well. We cannot negate the responsibility. Going by these standards, since Vikravandi, the first rally of Vijay, probably 4 or 5 rallies had happened. There are 58 lives which are lost. 41 plus 1 on attending the rally, and while after the rally because of accidents. We are not blaming people who passed away by accidents. TVK is responsible. But while on the venue, if a precious life is lost, you are responsible. It looks like they're saying in English, like he stuck his own grave. So people who come to participate in Vijay rally are digging their own grave. They have to come with their own coffins. That's the remark what she make,
Thenmozhi, do you
because
want
that
to
is for an
respond to
awareness.
that? There's
For
now
people to
this,
get the awareness.
there's now this scenario where it seems that anyone who attends a Vijay rally is unsafe.
You cannot talk like this, sir. We have given all the necessaries. First aid that has to be done. There were more than 30 ambulances. I myself went to the venue yesterday and I have seen all the ambulances were ready. We have given all the necessary aids to the person who was affected, and we have sent to the hospital. So you cannot say like that. We have done whatever we can. We have advised person who are
no, but
sick,
the allegation is
come.
the allegation from the police. Thenmozhi, the allegation is also that this man, this 37-year-old who unfortunately passed away, it was due to dehydration.
Where were water bottles? Water supply for these people?
The enough water bottles was given. There were bags given with biscuits and water bottles.
Then how did this
happen?
happen?
There were water bottles were there. The ambulance took him in the correct time. You can see
I agree. The ambulance reached there on time. We can see that in the footage. But the ambulance reached there on time. I agree. I can see that in the footage as well. But the police say dehydration in the heat in Tamil Nadu that we all know about, particularly in a place like Salem, were there adequate arrangements made to ensure people didn't suffer from a heat stroke? I'll bring in Mathur Satya, political analyst who's with the CPI. Mathur Satya, go ahead. What do you make of what happened?
I actually appreciate.
I'll come back to you. Let him finish.
I am making my point. You will have your time. Yeah. First of all, I appreciate our sister Thenmozhi because she apologized and she expressed, grief for the person passing away, which is one step more than what Vijay has done so far. So she is a better CM candidate than Vijay. Because what we want here is, even if they don't take responsibility or even if they don't agree that they are the reason for this, Vijay should have come out and express condolence for the person passing away, because this is not the first instance. Yeah, and before Karur too, even before Karur, in Madurai, couple of people died because of dehydration. So constantly in every one of your meeting, be it Trichy, be it Namakkal, be it any other place he goes to rally, at least 30 to 100 people faint every time because of dehydration. In spite of that, if you don't provide enough water, who is to be blamed? Every time there is an SOP, every time there is a guideline, TVK goes to court and asks the court to reduce the number of restrictions that have been put on. Every party accepts the restrictions because they know the reality of rallies, they know the reality of large crowds, and they stick to it. If AIADMK is able to manage the crowd, if DMK is able to manage the crowd, even VCK, which they claim to be a small party, can manage 7 lakh people in Trichy. Why can't TVK, that claims to be the primary force in the arena now, manage even 5,000 people at one time?
Do you want to respond to that? First, the question that Mathur Satya raised on why is it that we see a delay always in a statement from Vijay? We saw this in the aftermath of the Karur stampede. There were so many questions asked of how he chose to respond to that particular incident. And now this, no statement that's coming from Vijay. TVK, yes, from Vijay.
TVK is Vijay only. Vijay is TVK. That is the truth, right? Like, if
Ma'am, there's a difference. Ma'am, there's a difference. If I see a post from the DMK, if I see a post from Arivaliam versus when I see from the Chief Minister, there's a difference, ma'am.
Okay, what happened in air show? They are talking about this. What happened in air show? It is a failure.
This is highly insensitive that you do whataboutery when one of your own supporters has died. Don't do whataboutery. Own up your responsibility. Say that you will do better. Say your leader will come out and tell whatever he wants to tell. Instead of blaming it, you are not respecting the victims of air show also if you do this whataboutery when one person has died from your own rally.
It is not like that. We have, our chief has called all the persons from the Karur who was affected and saw them. Like, he is doing whatever he can. So what I am trying to say is, like, he was saying...
You will know, ma'am. How will public know? How will public know before going to the vote that Vijay will save them in times of trouble?
Leaders or spokesperson, whoever is talking, it is from the directions from the TVK chief. So you cannot
then
say...
what stops Mr. Vijay? Thenmozhi, I'm sure you understand. I'm sure you understand the optics. The optics involved here.
He is upset about this. Like, you cannot say randomly like that. He is upset about this. He is very sad about this. That is why we are expressing our condolences. All our second-rank leaders have showed their condolences and all those things. So
it's exactly that, secondary leaders. But also, okay, the other point. Let's move to the other point, Thenmozhi. My next question to you. Thenmozhi, just hold on. The next question to you is also about restrictions and the fact that TVK is constantly fought it. Mr. Vijay, even today in the Salem rally, spoke about it, saying there are attempts to stop us with all of these restrictions. But now you know why those restrictions are in place, because the TVK is struggling with every single event to ensure that it's mishap-free.
So, see, we have given passes to 4,998 people. If more people are attending, whose responsibility is to stop them? The police would have stopped, right?
The organizers too.
People are there. But
yes,
that is
the police, but the organizers too, ma'am.
No, it is not. It is not. Like, the police should have stopped. If they cannot, they can say, right, like, there are more people, we cannot conduct. But the problem is not that. Even the box is for more people, but only 50% of occupancy they have done. The boxes are huge. In each boxes, only 50% occupancy has been given and all those things. So it is not about the space. It is like he was sick and he was not able to take the heat. But we have given enough water and we have given necessary facility for the persons if they become dehydrated or if they have any problem. We have given enough things. You cannot just blame us like by saying like you are not doing great, you are not doing. Madurai conference, there is only one person, that too he was sick, and we have given all the necessary first aid and all those things, and he himself said like I will go to my hometown, and then he went with his friends. He went with his friends, and after that it happened. We are sorry for that. We are not saying we are not sorry and all those things. We are really sorry, and each of the lives who
will you are sorry, will simply you are sorry, bring back those youngsters.
Family, and we are,
okay.
we are
you will kill people and then say sorry.
That we say.
Let me bring in Kovai Sathyan also on this. Kovai Sathyan, the question from the TVK is, don't the police also have a certain responsibility to ensure, that all necessary arrangements are made at a rally? And so the AIADMK, of course, has been extremely critical of Vijay, but our questions also, bound to be asked of what the police are doing here.
It is bound to happen, and the blame game will continue. TVK will blame the police force for allowing more number of people. If they had stopped then and there, they also will take it as a political mileage, saying that, see, our cadres are being stopped. So it's like tutu meme will continue. But what is deriving
No, but why
out of
isn't
this
the AIADMK, it seems like the AIADMK is also happy, much like the DMK, to point fingers at TVK. The AIADMK, I've seen no questions being asked to the police.
I'm so sorry to get this statement from you. It is not, we are not happy at the loss of a life, precious life. You were just 37 years of age. I'm saying own up responsibilities, because there is an incident which took place, which claimed 41 lives. It is our leader who pointed the fingers at the police. Then the entire scenario got changed. Else, Mr. Vijay would have been behind bars by now from DMK because of the criminal suit they filed. Own up responsibilities. You can't be making statements, and your action should not give an impression that you are immature, irresponsible. That's what it's turning out to be. And rally is not something like an army camp where you conduct a screening test to who is physically fit. A rally is attended by all the people and all walks of life. It is being attended by all sorts of people belonging to the different segments of the society, because they are the voters. Now you say that we ask only fit people to come, we ask only this one to come. You can't define that. It is not possible.
Is there only so much, Satya, is there only so much that also the organizer can do? Is it right? And the TVK raises this question of what was the police doing? They also have a certain responsibility to ensure a crowd is managed, to ensure a rally is held properly.
Yes, there is a part of responsibility with the police. But what has police done over the last few months is that for every rally of TVK, take Pondicherry police or police in Erode, they have increased the number of police attending for TVK. That is usually, only 10% of it or 15% of it goes to other parties' rally. In TVK's rally, the proportion of the number of people participating and police is the highest in Tamil Nadu. In spite of this, if you are blaming police, then who should take the ultimate responsibility? Police has given more force, as you asked, and they have, as the court directed, they have put in an SOP. You won't honor the SOP. You won't listen to the directions of the police. Every TVK rally, you will see videos of police yelling at the TVK cadres, asking them to stick to the rules, ask them to restrict the people that are coming in. These are school children issues that TVK cadres cannot understand, not because they are immature, but because their leadership is immature. We have
Thenmozhi, do you want to respond to that?
They are saying the people are coming like immature and all those things. What 50 to 75 years? When they were
people are
ruling,
not
they
immature.
should have
Your leader
politicized,
is
right?
immature.
They
Your
haven't done that.
leadership
If
is
you are
immature.
saying that
One
point,
at a
I'll
time,
say
please.
that
One at a
point.
People are
time.
I'll
rational.
say
People are...
clearly, you failed to politicize. I know from which panel you are talking. You are supporting which party, everyone knows about that. So if you are supporting directly, then say
Ad
directly that
hominem.
supporting the party.
Own up your responsibility. I
They
didn't
failed to
go...
politicize. If you are talking about the crowd, they failed to politicize. We will slowly politicize. That I will agree.
I didn't
But
say that. I didn't
sole
say that.
responsibility of the government and the police.
Don't come up
It
with
is
your
the
mother
sole
points.
responsibility of the
Okay,
government and the
hold
police
on.
to protect the people. To protect the people. If you say
Okay,
like,
hold
okay,
on.
you can try
Ultimately,
to
you know,
keep the
I
election,
don't want to
they
let
could have
this,
stopped
I don't
it.
want this to break down into a political fight because there's much beyond that. A life has been lost. Ultimately, Thenmozhi Prasad, another question will be this. 2 rallies, 2 incidents have taken place now. One in Karur, now one in Salem. Is there clearly a need to rethink how these rallies are being organized even on the part of TVK?
Ma'am, we will try to avoid this kind of things next time. I'm sure about that. But the thing is, we have done whatever the arrangements that has to be done. We have done our part. We have arranged the ambulance. We have arranged the snacks. We have arranged water bottles. And we have arranged all the volunteers who can help the people if they have suffered. We have done everything from our part. From next time, we have to make sure that, like, children, elderly women, and then pregnant women and anyone who is sick, they should not come. We have to request more and more. We are trying, we are requesting. All our leaders are requesting.
Okay, I hope this gets fixed because in these kind of circumstances, to have rallies, to have campaigns, to have events is simply unacceptable. That we're seeing the loss of lives in this manner, 41 in Karur, now 1 in Salem. Something's going wrong. And clearly we need to plug whatever it is, because these kind of deaths is not something that, you know, we can ignore and continue with rallies, campaigns and election events over. But and I'll thank my guests for joining us on this broadcast. Tamil Nadu Chief Minister M.K. Stalin has announced a mega bumper sop for women, crediting a total of 5,000 rupees directly into bank accounts of 1 crore 31 lakh women beneficiaries. This is a massive scheme that's always been there in Tamil Nadu. But what we've seen essentially is an advance of 3,000 being credited because, as the Chief Minister says, that money will not go through because he says the Election Commission will block it, and add to it a bumper 2,000 rupees that's been announced. Let's get you all the details on, in fact, what this means. It's become, of course, a major political flashpoint also ahead of the elections in the state. Joining us on this broadcast, we've got Dr. Kanimuri Somu, Member of Parliament from the Dravida Munnetra Kazhagam. Vanakkam, ma'am. Thank you for your time. Dr. Sumansi Raman, political analyst, is also with us. Dr. Sumansi Raman, I'd like to begin with you first. What you make of this particular announcement? Is this truly going to be a game changer in securing the women vote for the DMK?
I'm not too sure how much of an impact it would have. It would certainly have some impact. Now, the point really is that people are seeing this to some extent for what it is. A kind of a, the only word one can use here is a kind of a bribe. Because let's forget this 1,000 rupees being released in advance. There is 2,000 rupees being given for summer expenses. Now, when in the history of Tamil Nadu has summer expenses been given to women? And what are these summer expenses? Now, will there be monsoon expenses, winter expenses, and various other excuses for giving out, distributing cash? I mean, it is extremely unfortunate that here is a government that is borrowing 1 lakh crore rupees every year, which has doubled the debt of the state, and which very pertinently has been indicted by the CAG for having spent the borrowed money on day-to-day operations. So I think that it's extremely unfortunate. Like I said, 1,000 rupees was a campaign promise. You gave 1,000 rupees. Now you're giving it in advance to prevent the Election Commission from clamping down. No problem. But what is this extra 2,000? You have given 3,000 for Pongal this year.
Dr. Kanimuri Somu, would you like to respond to that? Is this essentially, let's be very clear, timed to an election?
I wouldn't look at that as in the way, the context of what Dr. Sumansi Raman is speaking. See, really, we are very, very careful of dealing with the women's Magalir Urimai Thogai. And we know Tamil Nadu State Legislative Assembly elections are around the corner. And in the last week of February, we are going to have the announcement for the dates. And once it is announced, we would not be in a position to give it to the women who have been benefiting. Around 1.31 crore of women has been benefited through the Magalir Urimai Thogai scheme, which we know, which they have been getting it for the last 3 years, post 2 years of COVID. And we are in the concern of the women should have this welfare in the proper way. That was the reason for giving it in an advance of around February, March, and April, the 3,000. The 2,000 what Dr. Sumant Raman is talking about, yes, of course, we are very sure we would make it up again in the 2026 in the April elections, 2.0 Dravidian government election model election, we will win, and we would come out. We can also say it. Yes, we have given it for the month of May and June, and those 2 months are the months where the women has to pay the fees for the kids. Taking all this into the consideration, as a brotherly, as a fatherly affection, Tamil Nadu Chief Minister M.K. Stalin has given this. Now, another point, what Sumant Raman sir said was, he said Tamil Nadu is borrowing so much and giving it in this side. Let me be very clear this point. We are borrowing, we are giving it. Our GDP is also in the double digit from what it was in the previous 2 terms of the AIADMK's government. But we are not borrowing and paying the interest as what the central government is doing. Let us be very clear on that. The central government
is this good economics, ma'am?
And
ultimately, there's always been a debate over these kind of schemes of money, of doles being given out, whether it's good economics. Would you concede that it's not?
Let us not call it as doles, ma'am. Let us be very clear that it is a Urimai Thogai for the women and it is their right to take it, because we have named it that way, and let us not put that word of dole. It doesn't, as a women, I don't think we should also respect our womankind, and let us call it as a Urimai Thogai, or the right to women, what we are giving it, ma'am.
Ma'am, a dole merely is a benefit. So, I mean, I don't think it's a wrong term to use. But sure, Dr. Sumant Raman, go ahead quickly before I bring in Mr. Kovai Sathyan.
I want to know whether women did not have to pay their children's school fees for the last 4 years. Only this year, schools have started collecting fees, before they reopen. What kind of logic is this? 4 years this government has completed. They're completing 5 years. They've never given summer expenses. And why can't, and a government, madam says, we are anyway coming back to power. So why do you need to give 2,000 rupees like this randomly? There is no reason, no
logic.
logic.
Do you want to respond?
You can give it after the election. Once you
Go
are
ahead,
back.
Ma'am, we would have our elections in 7 or 8 phases. The whole India is aware of it. And definitely after the elections, everything has to settle down by May first week. Only then we would come back. And we are just taking care of our womanhood who's been toiling for all these years.
No, but to the question that Dr. Sumant Raman has asked about every year,
they have been
about every other year.
This with all the difficulty, ma'am. We see, men usually, more than men, women take care of the family these days, because we have empowered women in Tamil Nadu. They have been given education. Then compared to men, women take it on the stroll and they do so many things.
So why hasn't this been done in the last 4 years, ma'am?
This year they started taking care of their families.
Ma'am, we have already told in the 2026, along with this fund release credit, our Chief Minister has also announced that in the next manifesto, it would go up to 2,000. So it is a precursor of that. That is all. You should look at it like that, as a benefit for the women.
Okay.
It has nothing to do with, it's like a chumma, they just borrowing, giving. It's nothing for it. It is for the women welfare sake. It is for the women livelihood is what we are trying to give. Anyway, we are going to announce 2,000 is our election manifesto, which has been announced by our Chief Minister.
So ultimately, the political takeaway of this, and I'll bring in Mr. Kovai Sathyan on this, of the AIADMK. I'll come back to you, sir. Mr. Kovai Sathyan, what do you make of this? Is this something that the AIADMK will be worried about, that this could be a game changer of sorts in getting in the women vote for the DMK, which is about 1.5 months to go?
Hey, after this announcement, 2 things have become evident and clear. The first thing is, when our leader announced the increase of this to 2,000 rupees from our earlier manifesto of 1,500, DMK's M.K. Stalin is so rattled and scared because his ground has started to slip really faster than what he is really thought. And the second thing is the desperation of crowning his son Udaynidhi to the role of chief minister is so evident. So this fear of loss and desperation has driven this rolling out of 2000 rupees. That's clear. And what is more surprising is the kind of narratives that DMK's ecosystem is peddling and justifying this summer dole of 2000 rupees. A while ago, another spokesperson says that the 2000 rupees is for buying the uniforms for the school children. Now here it is for the school fees. So clearly evident this DMK, the entire ecosystem is rattled because this is going to be the end of the dynasty, end of the political journey of M.K. Stalin and his son Udaynidhi. This will put an end to the dynasty. And what
Dr.
is more
Somu, do you want
important
to
is
respond?
10 seconds, 10 seconds, 10.
Yeah,
10 seconds, 10 seconds. What is more important is 2021, the poll promised by M.K. Stalin is 1000 rupees will given for every woman. The total number of voters stands at 3 crore and 24. 3.24 crores.
Okay.
Now,
Dr.
rolling
Kanimuri
out for
Somu.
130,000 and saying that they deserve it, they have the right, they are eligible, clearly has not gone well with the rest of 2.24 crores.
Okay, Dr.
And
Kanimuri
finally,
Somu, do you want to
30 lakh
respond
women,
to the AIADMK
30 lakh
saying...
women getting the eligibility after 55 months.
Okay, sir,
Just 5 months before
let the DMK
election.
respond to what you've said. Dr. Kanimuri Somu, your response to the AIADMK saying this is merely a reaction.
Ma'am, it is not so. We have seen the ADMK head Edapadi Palanisamy saying that giving 1000 rupees is a bribe and all that. It cannot be given because when they left the government, they had put there almost, it was a nil balance and it was in the minus what they had kept and went. But now it is not so. It has drastically, a financial status of Tamil Nadu has increased. Of course, we have borrowed. He might say, Sathyan might say, yes, they have taken. Yes, we have borrowed. We have grown the GDP. The GDP from single digit, what was in the AIADMK period, has now come to double digit. Our industrial growth has come. Our CM has gone and brought in the funds from abroad to Tamil Nadu for investing here. Growth is happening. Women force is getting more and more into working ecosystem for women, and Tamil Nadu has improved. The higher education quality of percentage of dropouts have come down because of the other various schemes, because we have been giving 1000 rupees of again over there for those students who are getting into post graduation. See, these are all we empowering women towards education, so that we have to have in mind. Okay.
Let me bring in Thenmozhi Prasanna, spokesperson of the TVK. Thenmozhi, as a woman politician particularly, do you agree with this particular step that's been taken, that this ultimately benefits women?
It benefits women, I agree. But the thing is, my question is, both the parties have ruled for the past 75 years nearly, and if the people are still in a stage to get a relief and then get the school, they have discussed about like getting the school children uniform and then school fees and all those things. Is this how the economy of the people are still there? They have to accept that. And they were talking about the industrial growth. But they have to give a white paper report that how many industries have been created and how many job opportunities have been created. Have they really created the job opportunities as per the promises they have given in the manifesto that yearly 10 lakhs jobs nearly they will create? They have to say that. The another thing is they are giving 2000 now. But they have announced that they will give for all women, but they have been given for the first some months. And then after people asking, after people questioned, they have started
which
to
the AIADMK has maintained is their impact essentially. Before I wrap this up, final word to Mr. Sumansi Raman. You've heard what the DMK and the TVK, AIADMK have said on this. I know Mr. Vijay has said take the money and go ahead and vote for him. But ultimately, Mr. Sumansi Raman, what do you see this impact of? Do you see this having an impact on the ground? The women vote matters a whole lot in Tamil Nadu. You may be making promises by other political parties, but getting that money in your wallet makes a big difference.
Yeah, we saw that in Bihar. We saw the impact in Bihar, and definitely there will be an impact. That is the reason why they are doing this. But the point is, what is actually happening is that Democracy is now being auctioned to the highest bidder. Whoever is in power can keep paying money, public money. Mind you, I want to point out one thing. I mean, Dr. Somu, Kanimuri Somu said, we are not paying interest on the loans. 70,000 crore Tamil Nadu is paying as interest every year. It was 33,000 crore when this government came to power. They have increased the interest alone by 35,000 crore. And that is going to be an ongoing sum. Every year, 35,000 crore. Out of the state's budget of 3,20,000 odd crore that the state collects overall, 1,30,000 crore is going in salaries,
Ultimately,
7,000 crore is going in interest. What is going for capital expenditure? Hardly anything.
Ultimately, that is the question that will be asked about, all the doles that we say. And I use the word doles very consciously here because this isn't something that's limited to Tamil Nadu. We see it across the country that politics before an election is all about ensuring benefit to certain sections of the society, hoping it will translate to votes. And is that going to cost us also? Look at the economics of it, the cost of something like this. Again, I'll highlight that this isn't just a Tamil Nadu problem, but perhaps a pan-India problem. I'll leave it at that. I'd like to thank all our panelists for joining us as I wrap up this edition of To The Point. Thanks for tuning in.